I want to do a quick video uh, about Evans tires. I've been dealing with them since the late 90s. I, uh, I bought a 1998 Tacoma back in 1997, and I still have that truck. It's got 245,000 miles on it. It runs really great. And back around the year 2000 something, I bought a lifetime alignment from Evans Tires for the truck. Um, so I've been bringing it to them for alignments for some time. I think around 2018, I didn't use the truck very much. So there was a gap there of several years when I didn't bring it in. And they bugged me about proving to them that I had really bought the alignment. They didn't want to do any free alignments anymore, but I found the paperwork, so they honored it. About 6 months ago, on a long trip back, I noticed that the steering was pulling to the right a bit, and I've been fighting it ever since. Kind of got sick of it. A few months ago, I brought it into them to have it aligned, but they gave it back to me the same way. It was still pulling to the right. They explained to me that it needed shims and that their machine was broken, that, it's a special thing. You have to have a jack underneath it and to lift it up so that they can actually work on the shims, put them in or take them out or whatever, and then they lower it in again and so forth. And I brought it in a few weeks ago, same story. They gave it back to me. They said that actually the numbers are pretty close to correct, to perfect, that it's really maybe a shim problem. I asked how come, and he explained to me that the front end wears out, and as parts get old, you have to shim it. So I asked him to look at it, to look at the front end, make sure there are no worn parts. And they had three people look at it. He came back telling me that, yeah, in fact, the inner and outer tie rod ends had worn out and that they were going to have to be replaced. And then it would have to be aligned again. And that the extra work on the shims is not covered by my alignment policy, that we're looking at $190 an hour, that if I was lucky it would take a couple of hours. We're talking $450. And so I took it to my mechanic who doesn't do alignments, and I bought these parts that they quoted me, I think $700 for $45 on eBay. So when he was ready to work on it, he checked the steering and found out that it didn't need to be replaced. There was nothing wrong with the tie rod ends. So he explained to me that places like Evans Tires, they'll bring you back with a sweetener like, oh, you get a free alignment, but then they'll actually try to get some money out of you one way or the other. And he, in fact, had a similar experience at Evans Tires, and he's a mechanic. He didn't tell him who he was or anything. So I made an appointment with a local shop, and they were excellent. They, in fact, checked out the front end for me and told me no, there's nothing wrong with the tie rod ends. They did the alignment. The alignment was off, and they also had to take out some shims. But there was no extra charge for that because it didn't take that long for the tech to take care of it. And driving it home today, the truck feels good. It's not pulling to the right anymore. It was driving me nuts. One time I went over a bridge and there was a little unevenness in the road. When it touched back down, it really pulled to the right. It felt like if the left tire was actually steered to the right. And in fact, that tire wore out way more than my other tires. And it had to do with the way the tire was sitting because of the shim. So, just to verify the story, I want to show you their their estimate here. This is what they came up with. I hope you can see there the column on the right. The tie rod ends at $117. Then the labor to the right of them. Down at the bottom underneath, the subtotal on parts, 701, on labor, 1247, 1949, and that includes $487 for shims if you look at it properly. This is from this is all from Evans Tires. What do you know? There's the total, So I'm not real happy about this. I don't know about you, but I don't personally like getting ripped off just because they think they can. It's happened to me enough to where I've really acquired a distaste for it. So that's why I'm posting this thing about Evans Tires.